Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, please try to chat. If you can chat on mute, so we know that our voice is clear and you guys can hear us. Okay, thank you, Faisal. We will just give a minute to before you go ahead get started. Sir and Faisal and you, did you guys join before last week? Both of you?
No, I joined first time.
First time, okay. How about the Asra?
Me as well. This
You
is
are
my
also
first time.
also first time, okay. So just want to make sure that if you are first time, we do not want to repeat certain information. And in 1 minute, we are going to go ahead and get started. We know that the others might be still coming in because of some Maghrib prayer and wherever you are at. So it will come. But we'll share the recording and this way others can pick up on the recordings. Huh? Okay. So let me share my desktop. Do you see my desktop?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome. Friends who is new with us that you have not heard about Urban Food Alliance, I wanted to make sure that share with you the use case or case study Microsoft has done for us, Urban Food Alliance. In 2023, that in Urban Food was selected by Microsoft and across the states, they brought in couple non-profit organization who is focusing on workforce development. So I wanted to make sure that people who is first time and just is here and know how at Urban Food Alliance and the Microsoft connection. Microsoft is our technology partner and behind the scene at our website, and if you go aiufa.org, Sajida, if you can share the link in there, it's a short Urban Food Alliance. It's going to take you urbanfoodalliance.org. On the website, you'll see that Microsoft, our technology partner, where we not only work with Microsoft, many others, but by offering this workforce development program and helping being part of Microsoft has an organization where TechSpark they selected the nonprofits and who is doing this workforce development using Microsoft technology, giving back to the community. There are all the details on their website. I am the founder of this organization that where my focus is mostly that use AI, how AI is not only going to help us to make a bigger impact in the community, at the same time help more people, whether people in need for job or food, that using technology create that gap, or the close that gap where we see the rich and the people who is really in need. How can we close this gap? Equalities and equity equality is something we are looking. When it comes to AI, just I'm sure many of you today seeing the news happened that yesterday that when Oracle at 6 a.m. sending over 30,000 emails to Oracle employees and laying off people just over email and phone message text. There is no warning, nothing coming in. So that reminds about AI. It's just like many people think it's a fire or is something is another bubble. Friends, it's not a bubble. It is something that think of that fire. That fire can help you to warm your food, comfort you, or the same fire can also cause you lose your job, right? If we do not utilize the tool. So AI reminds me like that there is a use case. So today what you're going to see that as Sajida is going to be sharing that and how that you use certain capability and then the create an AI agent and then she's going to be show the demo and she is not going to get into too much into how to do all this stuff. That's why we are asking you please do go to our website. We have multiple training sessions and boot camps we do and during that we will go all the details, but still here she'll go as much as details that we feel like within the time we can allocate in next 40 minutes and with you. So for us, when we look in all the different technology and different needs in a business, how do we connect together? Myself that worked in technology that many of you are not even born by the time I started. Windows was not born. Okay, mainframe. I started my career coding in COBOL, JCL, mainframe, and then Windows came along, and then I jumped on and learning Windows. So my background is like computer science and finance. So at some point that I did retire from the corporate world, and then when I retired in 2017, founded this organization, nonprofit organization. Today also I am working with a consulting with other organizations, where in those organizations that we do hire people, and then I am in charge of making sure the work we are doing makes sense for those organizations, and that's also open the door. So for getting into too much into work and what do we look for when it comes to candidate, when we are validating about their AI skill, the some of the stuff we will be able to share tomorrow. If you have not visited our website, that you are, please do that. And in the link also, we are going to be sharing tomorrow's that events coming up in person in a restaurant. We do that once a month. That also. So real in there, what we will talk about also real world experience when we have all the internship that on our website, you're going to see that multiple internship, the opportunity, mentorship, speaker opportunity. We do not know your background. As long as that you see that something we are offering, and then it takes you and said, hey, I want to learn more about it. Please ask the question in the chat, while that I pass it to Sajada, and then I will respond to your questions, and then I will might share with you some couple links, because we understand at UFA there are so many other things may not be applicable for all of you, but based on your need, that AI is like that. Every scenario is different. All of us are different. We bring a different skill. But if we are able to plug in all those different skills and build one solution that's going to meet your need, that's where the business is looking now. You cannot have one generic chatbot and expecting that's going to answer your all the question, customer question, employee question, and that's AI success. That's not what AI is really using for. Okay. So with that, I want to make sure that, again, to remind you guys that we will share the recording, and those who has not joined in the past, that you'll see in the recording, those that information is going to be there. And then not only giving you a link of this recording, previous recording also. And we will continue doing this every week, so that way we can help as many people we can. Okay. Without further ado, go ahead.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Sajeda Sultana. I am Microsoft certified trainer. I come from a technical background with over 7 years of experience working with Microsoft technologies, especially Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and Azure. So, over the years, I have been involved in the full cycle of building solutions from the understanding the business requirement, designing, developing, testing, and delivering the application that actually solve the real world problems. So, what I really enjoy is helping the organizations optimize their processes and build the custom solution that can create the real impact. So, that's exactly why I am excited about the today's topics, because what we are discussing today, the function calling, it's a key step in moving forward from the traditional system to intelligent action driven AI solution. So today I will not only explain the concept, but also I will try to connect them with the real world scenarios and will show you how they can be applied in the own project. So before jumping into the today's topics, let's quickly recap what we covered in the last session. So last week we focused on building the strong foundation around the AI agents. Then we explored about the agentic AI versus the traditional AI and how AI is evolving from just responding to actually making the decision. And then I explain how the AI can take the action. And moving forward to the Azure concept. I explained what is the Azure AI Foundry platform, what are the capabilities, what is the architecture of the Azure AI Foundry. Then I described what is the difference between the Azure OpenAI versus the Azure AI Foundry. Then we wrap up the session with the live multi-agent demo. After the session, I will share one survey link. If you fill out the survey, then we will share the today's and the last recordings. Let me go the today's topics. Now let's take a look what we will be covering today. So we will start with the simple introduction of the function calling so you can clearly understand what it is and why it's important. And then we will move forward to the AI agents make decisions, and that is where you will see how AI choose between the responding and actually taking the decision. And after that, we will explore the role of the function in AI workflow. And then we will explore what do you mean the tools and how AI use them. Then we will focus on the Azure, how AI connects to the external data. And then we will explain what is the high level workflow from the AI agent. Then I will show some of the common use cases and applications. Then I will show the live demo. Let's move to the first topics. Okay, the first foundational topics is the function calling in AI. So what does it mean by function calling? So function calling allows the AI agent to go beyond just giving answer. So normally when you interact with the AI, it does only one thing, right? Let's say if you ask one question, it gives you the answer, one answer, right? One response. But with the function calling, AI can actually face the real-time data. It can perform action. Also, it can interact with the external system. So instead of just responding, AI can do things, right? Let me explain with the simple analogy. Let's say, think of AI just a smart assistant sitting at a desk. Without the function calling, the assistant can talks and gives you the suggestion. But with the function calling, the assistant can actually pick up the phone, it can send the email, even it can check the real-time information, then it will give you the accurate information. That is the difference. Now, this is the one confusing question. Why do you need the function calling? We have the large language model. We all know the large language model in the backend, it has trained a lot of information, right? So why do you need this function calling? Instead, we have the LLM. So let me explain one by one. In the left side, we have the large language model, and in the other side, we have the function calling. So let me ask you something. For example, when you use ChatGPT, what does it actually do? It gives you the answer, right? It explains the things very well, sometimes even better than the human. So that is the LLM, the brain of the system. So what it does, it gets only for the understanding, explaining, and it's mainly generate the text very well. But the lack of the LLM is it doesn't give you the live information, right? So here is the important things we need to understand. Let's say if we use the model the ChatGPT 4o mini, so it has something called the knowledge cutoff date. So in these cases, the GPT 4o mini, the knowledge cut date is October 2023. So what does it mean? It means the model has been trained on information only up to certain time. If anything that happened after the October 2023, the model doesn't know about that. So now imagine this, if you ask the question, tell me the weather right now. So what the LLM will do? First of all, the LLM will try it based, either it will give you the old or static information, or maybe it can give you the guessing information because it doesn't have the live access, right? In that cases, the function calling comes in. So instead of just guessing the answer, what AI can do, AI can call the function. It can connect to the API. Let's say for the weather example, it can connect to the real weather API. Then it can fetch the latest information. Then it will give you the latest information, right? So simply we can say LLM think the LLM like a brain and the function call like a hand. So you can think all day without brain. but without hands, you cannot actually do anything. And the opposite side is also true. Let's say hands without thinking do not help you much either, right? So the real power comes in when it will work both together. The brain decides what to do, and the hands actually decide what it needs to do. And that's when the AI comes more powerful, more useful. All right. So now let's understand something is very important. When does AI actually decide it needs to call a function? AI doesn't always need to call an action. Let's say if you ask, this is the AI agent, if this user asks, what is an AI? It's a very general question, right? Already AI knows. So what it will do, it will give the user response directly. It doesn't need to call any tools, any external services. But if we change the question, this question, what is the weather today? In that cases, weather today means it's asking the real-time information, right? So if we use the same model, the GPT-4o mini, it doesn't able to give you the live, real or live information, right? So in that cases, we need to call the function. Another example I can give you, let's say the stock price now. This question is also asking the real-time information. So if you made any agent and that agent is use the GPT-4o mini, in that cases, the same things will happen. It doesn't able to give you the live information. It will give you the outdated information. So what we can say here, when the user will ask one question, AI face the two things. Either it will give you the answer itself if it knows, otherwise it will call the tool. It will call the function. So now let's talk about the role of function. So instead of thinking technically, let's make this very simple. Imagine you are managing a team in an office. So you are the manager and your team members are the functions. Just imagine this. And since you are a manager, you don't do everything yourself, right? So what you can do, you can ask your team member, maybe you can ask the one team member, okay, prepare the report, or you can ask the another team member, send the email, or you can ask the another team member, get the data and visualize the data, right? So each person has a specific responsibility. That's exactly what functions do in the AI. So functions define what actions the AI can take. Let's connect with the slide. The first option is the define function. So function tells the AI these are the tasks you are allowed to perform. That means it's a specific, just like employees have the job roles, right? And the second, this is the external connections. So what does it mean? Let's say your team doesn't just work internally. Sometimes they need to connect the another department, they needs to connect the another system. In the same way, the functions connect the AI to the external services like the API, databases, or system. And the third is the structured workflow. So what does it mean? As a manager, you organize the tasks in order, right? Let's say you need to make some chart, you have some data and you need to make this chart or dashboard. So what you will do, first of all, you have to do one by one. First, you need to collect the data, then you need to normalize or you need to process the data. After that, you can generate the tax, right? It will do one by one. That means step. So function helps the AI to follow the structured process like this. And the fourth is the enhanced capabilities. Okay. The fourth point is the enhanced capabilities. So what it will do, as a manager, you cannot do all the tasks yourself, right? But with the team, you can achieve the more actions. With the same things will happen in the AI function expand what AI can do from the simple answer to the complex tasks. So if I summarize all the things, let's say the AI is the manager, function is the team member. Without function, AI only think. But with the function, AI can actually get the things done. So this is what the roles of the function in the AI workflow. Moving forward to the next topics. Now let's talk about the tools in AI. So far, we have seen AI can think, it can understand, even it can make the decisions, right? But the next question is, what does it actually do anything? That means here the tools come in. In a simple terms, I can say tools are what AI helps the go beyond just thinking. They allows the AI to get the data. It helps the AI to connect the system and then actually perform the task. So let me explain in the simple example. Think of AI just like a developer. We all know the developer can write the code, they can write the logic, right? But to build the real world application, sometimes they need to retrieve the information from the external information from the external system. In that cases, they need to use the API. Sometimes they need to show the data from the database. And sometimes they need to connect the another services. So without those, nothing really works. And those are exactly what we call the tools in AI. And the tools are not just one things. They are the different types. The most common tools is the API, functions, and the external services. So function means it's specific actions AI can perform, and then the API means it can retrieve the real time or the external data from other system. And then the external services means it can be the databases or it can be the other things where you can store the information, you can retrieve the information. Here is something very important we need to remember. The function is one kind of tool. So we can consider the function calling the tool. The tool can, using the tool, we can getting the weather information, we can fetch the user details from the database, we can doing the calculation, right? By using the function calling. So now the question is, why do you need tools? Because without them, AI is limited to its already knows, right? It can explain the things, but it cannot do anything. But with the tools, AI can get the real time information, it can perform the action, it can connect the real system, and that's when it's becomes the truly useful, right? Okay. Now the topic is how AI connect to the external data. I have mentioned the multiple times the same term, external data or external services. But what does it actually mean? Let's make it very simple. When we say the external data, that means the data is not inside within the AI model. It lives somewhere the outside. It can be the weather services, it can be a databases, sometimes it can be the payment system, right? So if AI needs like that information, that means AI has to go out and get the information. And how does it do that? Through the API. So think of API just like a bridge. It can connect the AI to the other system. So instead of just guessing, AI can say, let me call the API, then it will show the real-time information, right? So once the connection is made, then the term is the data retrieval. It can retrieve the weather information, it can retrieve the user data from the databases and so on. So we can call it the data retrieval. And then the step is the workflow integration. So this part becomes more powerful. So why I'm saying the powerful? Because it's not just a one step. It becomes a part of the different steps. Let's say if you ask any question, first of all, AI will try to understand your question. Then it will call the function, it will connect the API, it will get the data, and after that, it will show the answer, right? So everything works together as a flow, not a single step. That's why the workflow integration is very important. All right. Now let's put everything in one place. How does the whole system actually work step by step? This is the high level workflow of AI system. So let's walk through with a simple story. Let's say the user means you. If you ask one question, the same question, I'm giving the same example again and again just because of it will carry your concept. That's why. So the user request, let's say if you ask one question, what is the weather today? So next step is the agent interpretation. What does it mean? AI reads your question or queries, then it will try to understand your question. What is you really asking? And then the step is the tool check. It will then AI will think, do I really need to call any tools or I can answer the simple question? If it can answer the simple question, that time it doesn't call any tool. But if it needs any tool call, then the step is the function call. So it calls a function which connect to an API, then it gets the real data. After that, the result return these things. The function sends the data back to the AI. Then the final step is the user response. The AI takes the data, format it nicely, then it gives you the final answer. So if you look at the full flow, it's asking the question, then it's trying to understand the question. After that, it decide, do I need to call any tool? If it needs a tool calling, then it will go the function call. It will take the data from the function call, then it will give you the answer. This is step by step. Every time it will follow the same step if you ask any question. Now let's bring everything into the real world, because so far I have talked about the concept, but where we actually see in this action. Let's look at the common applications. The first application is the weather assistance. Everyone knows about the weather assistance, right? This is the simplest example. So if you ask the question about the weather, what it will do, it will call the function, it will connect to the weather API. After that, it will give you the all information, right? Then the application is the customer support. So think about it's the chatbot or AI assistant in any website. If you ask any question, let's say, where is my water? So where is my water means you are asking the personalized question, right? It's not the general question. So in that cases, what AI will do? AI just doesn't respond to you with the generic answer. Instead of it can check your order status, it will retrieve the data from the system, then it will give you the answer with the personalized. Let me show you one real life example. So if you go to our website, urbanfoodalliance.org, you will able to see the one chatbot, chat with me. You see the AI assistant. If I click on this, it will redirect to the another link. Okay, now it's showing, hello, I am Mandy and a virtual assistant. And also it's asking, what is your preferred language? We have the multiple option, right? English, French, Hindi, and Italian. Let's say if I respond with the English, in the backend, we have one function call. What it will do, in the backend, we are using the Azure AI translator. It takes the response English, and every time when I will ask any question as a user, it will give me the answer in English language. Let's say if I select the English, now it knows my preferred language is English. Let's say if I asking the another question, what is the history of UFA? Now it's showing the information. So in the backend, what we are doing, we just called one function call, and that function it's retrieving the information from the website. If I go the our story, the same information it's retrieving here. That means it's another function call. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Then the example is the about the smart assistants. We all are know about the smart assistant, right? Okay, so we can consider as a smart assistant, let's say it can Alexa, Google Assistant, even we can say the mobile assistant. So if you say turn off the light, or maybe you can say set a reminder. So what happens in the backend, AI actually perform the action. It's just calling the function and then it does the specific things. It connects to the device and then execute the task. So if you look at all the examples, the common thing is AI is not just answering you. What it does, it mainly interacting with the system, it's using the tool, then it performing the action. And that's exactly we have learned today, the function calling. Okay, now the interesting part is the live demo. So before jump into the live demo, let me quickly walk you through what we will see in today's lab. Because once you understand the flow, the demo will make you a lot more sense, right? So the goal is not just to get the weather. since it's a smart weather assistant, so what it will do, let's say as a user, if I ask if the weather is nice tomorrow or if the weather is nice today, then confirm the session. Let's say the time is 8 p.m. So what it will do in the backend, it will call the one function get weather tool as a function call. Then it will retrieve the information from live. Then it will check if the weather is good. It will send the confirmation email. Otherwise, it will just skip the function, this step, this function call. But as a user, let's say if you ask, I know the weather is bad, but it still send the email. It will do the work. It will send the email. Let me show you one live. So I have prepared this lab within the Azure AI Foundry. In the last session, I described what is AI Azure Foundry and what is the architecture. So if you watch this video, you will get the idea what it exactly does. For this lab, I made this assistant smart weather assistant. So what it will do, it has two functions, get weather and sending email. So the first one, when I will ask, okay, is today's weather is good? It will just show me the answer. If I ask, okay, tell me if the weather is good and then send the email, it will do the both things. Let me try playground. The one agent is doing the two things, two actions. So I'm asking if the weather is good, send an email. Send an email. Let's say the topic name, say the Azure demonstration. I'm writing one test email. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's showing me the answer. It's showing the answer. The currently the weather is the cloudy. The weather doesn't meet the criteria for good weather, so I won't send the email. So I'm asking, I know the weather. I know the weather is bad, but I want to confirm the session. Please send the email. So now it just trying to send the email. It's showing the email has been successfully sent. Let me open the email. Okay, I got the email 0 minutes ago. So what it does in the backend, first of all, it's using the get weather tool for checking the weather. If the weather is good, then it will call this tool. In the backend, I'm using the Azure Logic apps to sending the email. And this is the smart weather assistant. Let me go back to the slide. Okay, that's all from my side.